Hey guys, welcome back. We're playing Bloody Dater Painting Sim. Wait. Bloody Painter Dating Sim. I don't know why that's so hard for me. I messed up like 5 times. This game I got off the Steam store for free. It does have some content warnings. I don't know if this is going to show up on my screen or not, but it says this game is not suitable for children. If you read that you're at least 13 years of age, this game contains some graphic scenes of violence. Gore, jump scares, starvation, realistic depictions of graphic violence, auditory gore, murder, death, dismemberment, graphic self-decapitation, realistic severed head. No? Let me see. Alright, let's do display. There we go. Perfect. In the game, players can easily die. If you encounter a murderer, please call the police first. It's unrealistic to develop a romantic relationship with a murderer. Oh, that makes sense. This is a romance game. Alright. Sound good? You guys ready? I don't know why I have to play in this window, but I guess it's fine. Let's start. With a severe headache, you wake up in an unfamiliar place. As you touch the bruise on the back of your head, it seems you were hit by something heavy before you lost consciousness. Nah, they can't. Just my pajamas. A heavy iron chain tied around your feet. Someone has trapped you here. You try to remember what happened before you lost consciousness, but you can't recall anything. And I'm gonna fix it. Boo, I can't believe I did that. Am I gonna restart? No. I wish I could edit videos. Then we wouldn't have this problem. Okay, we're back. I had to shut my closet. Alright. Let's investigate the surroundings first. The wall. The room is surrounded by 4 walls without any windows. Whew, my bad, my hand twitch. Looks like a prison built by a germaphobe. Where to investigate next? The cell phone? No signal. I might be in here, in a remote place or underground. Where to investigate next? I would not be this smart. I can already say I'd be dead. There's a mattress on the floor. The mattress feels really hard to lie on. Where to investigate next? Near the door, there's a serving of spaghetti with tomato sauce and a bottle of water. Also, a round plastic fork that's completely harmless was thoughtfully attached. Oh, like you can't hurt anybody because it's a spork. Could you kill someone with a fork? Maybe. It's still warm. It feels like it was sent here long ago. Where to investigate next? The door? You peep through the keyhole, but you see nothing outside. Wonder where I am. Yes. What's the next move? Listen, obviously. You can't hear any sounds other than your own breathing. The soundproofing in this room seems particularly good. Knock over the mill. Yeah! Whoa! Make the room messy and dirty with food. Listen. You can't hear anything. Okay. I don't want to yell for help, but let's try it. Nobody answers. Alright. Listen. Okay. Well, that's all we can do. I don't know what else to do. Look at the little spaghetti. You lay on the bed. You try to sleep under this condition. Maybe it's the fatigue caused by nervousness, but you still fall asleep. Question marks? More question marks? You open your eyes after hearing some noise. A tall man, wearing a mask, is squatting on the ground and looking at you with his head tilted. He looks extremely displeased. He notes the mop and the bucket he brought with him. Who are you? Why did you abduct me? He starts to clean up, ignoring your questions. After a while, the dirty room becomes clean, and he doesn't forget to spray alcohol everywhere to disinfect when he's done. Day 2, morning. I'm mildly concerned. The first day passed. You feel very hungry. Hungary. Oh, I forgot this is translated. That's fine. That was on purpose. There has been no food or water sent here since yesterday. Sometimes, when you're so hungry that your stomach hurts, you can only use your arms to press your stomach hard to relieve the pain. Day 3, night. The third day passed. There's a chill in your limbs, and you can't muster any strength in your hands and feet. You need to replenish calories to maintain bodily functions, or else you'll faint. Day 7, Jesus, he was very upset with me. A week passed. I don't know how they'd know. I wouldn't know. You're lying on the bed in a daze, with only one breath left. In a trance, you hear the sound of the heavy gates being opened one by one. And then, the footsteps getting closer to you. You feel that your body is in the air. It seems like someone has picked you up. You think, it would be great if it's the police coming to rescue. The possibility makes you fall asleep in peace. Dots. But you never wake up again. Bum, bum, bum. Bad end 6-1. Messy is unacceptable. Ooh, good to know. Let's try it again. Can we just... Yeah. Cool. Yes. Okay, let's go sleep. Are you sure? Yes. You lay on the bed. You try to sleep under the conditions. Maybe it's a fatigue, but you fall asleep. Dots. Questions. You open your eyes after hearing some noise. He remains silent, as if sizing up his prey. He points to the plate on the floor, like indicating that you should finish your meal quickly. Thinking that the strange man might have poisoned the meal, you shake your head in fear. Seeing you have no intention of eating, he looks quite distressed.
You can't die.
What? There's voice acting?
Not now.
Wait a minute. Do I know this voice? He slowly speaks with a deep and steady voice.
The freezer is full.
No. What does that mean?
The freezer is full, and there's no space for more. 7 days.
He pauses and thinks.
There won't be space until 7 days later. If you die now, you'll rot.
What do you mean? So I only have 7 days left to live? Ah, nuts. Is the game too loud? Boo. He nods and walks out of the door. Wait. You can't just leave me here like this, please. Your cries can't stop the door from closing. Let's investigate the surroundings first. Mill? A bread and a bottle of water. Door? You peek outside from the keyhole. You see the shadow of the man walking around. Seems to be busy with something. What is he doing? Mattress. No. Mill. Can I eat the... No, okay, mattress. Let's sleep. Please try to improve your survival rate within 7 days. Day 2. Morning. Let's investigate and look around. Mill. Empty plate. Door. You check the keyhole. You seem to see something. You see there's a vague figure at the end of the door. Observe quietly. You sense something wrong and realize what it is after narrowing your eyes. It's an artwork made of the human body, not a human being. Ah! Ah! You hear the door open. You slowly push the door, and there's no trace of the strange man. First, you go into a room with a large freezer, sink, and operating table. Then, you open another heavy door. You find yourself in a room full of glass display jars. The jars are all filled with specimens made from the human body parts. It's like you're in an art museum. Could it be that he wanted to freeze me as material for specimen artwork? Wow, she is very calm. I'd be freaking out. I think I would be like crying and vomiting. Body parts. You're thinking. You're seeing the scene. Admire the artworks. We want him to like us. You look around and admire his work with relish. You look at them for 15 minutes straight. You hear a voice coming from the corner. Turns out the man has been watching you from a blind spot behind the glass cabinet. I like them. They're so beautiful. We're so full of it. They're so scary. The man goes silent, with his head tilted for a couple of seconds. After hearing your comment, he seems to be thinking about something.
Don't you consider it cruel or bloodthirsty to them?
No, I feel like nothing at all. I don't have eyes, clearly. Dots.
You're such a weirdo.
You think, aren't you talking about yourself? After you have a tour of his display room, he locks you back in the small room you were in. You go to sleep to end the day. Your survival rating increases. Nice. He improved of that, obviously. Until noon, you don't see breakfast or lunch being delivered. You're already starving. You are waiting for him to bring dinner, but what you get is not dinner. Instead, you hear the door opening. A light shines through the crack of the half-open door, looking like an intriguing invitation. You open the door and walk into that light. You first arrive at the room with an operating table outside the door. But this time, the operating table is not empty. There's a defrosted human corpse on it. The man pops out of somewhere. He unties the iron chains from your feet and hands the surgical knife in his hand to you.
First, where do you think the first cut should be?
We're gonna save. He doesn't know this trick. Serial killers hate this one trick. Okay. Back to the game, I would say. Okay. His voice tone sounds cold, like the kind of teachers who give students hard questions on purpose. Stab the corpse, obviously. Maybe beautiful work always comes from some sacrifices. Ugh. Without hesitating, you stab the abdomen. It's fine, you know what I mean. Of the corpse with the knife. But due to lack of professionalism, the lines you cut are crooked and ugly. And this is where he gets close behind your back and holds your hand. You're both holding the surgical knife, like you two are cutting a cake together. With his hand, the lines you cut become smooth and clean. I'm gonna be so wrinkly. I'm sorry. You can smell an ocean perfume on him due to how close you are. You sure he doesn't smell like blood and guts? Because I feel like he'd smell like blood and guts. And dead bodies. It seems to be sprayed to cover up the smell of formaldehyde. You can feel his warmth with your back, but his fingers are a little cold. He's focusing on cutting the corpse, and your hand keeps moving under his lead. He could have killed you, or ignored you, but he didn't. Start to speculate on the purpose of his behaviors. Could it be that he wants someone who can ignore the cruelty and process and understand him? I can fix him. That's me. You think, or he could ruin me, I guess. After the happy creative time ends, you're locked in the room you were in. You go to sleep to end the day. Ugh, dead bodies. Ugh. Blood and guts and all that is not for me. I like spooky stuff, but it's just... Until noon, you don't see breakfast or lunch being delivered. You're already starving. You notice that something is shining at the corner. A key. It seems like the man actually dropped it last night. You open the door with the key. You go past the operating table where you two spent creative time together last night. That's what they call it. The display room. Then you discover that there are unnatural, uneven marks from one wall to the corner. You find a trapdoor. After pushing the trapdoor, you see a normal basement storage room. At the corner of the storage room, you see a stair that goes up. Turns out that this is really an underground secret room, hidden layer by layer with trapdoors. No wonder the sound insulation is so good. You walk up the stairs and see a heavy wooden board. You push it hard. What catches your eye is the interior of a cozy cabin. Then you realize the heavy wooden board you just pushed is the back of a bookcase. You look around and find that there are insect specimens everywhere in the cabin, and there's also a reindeer head specimen hanging on the wall. Then you walk into the living room. Aw, he's so cute. Dang, always gets me. You spot a young man with a handsome face and pale skin laying on the sofa. The ocean-scented perfume and the faint smell of formalin is what it says. I think that's different than what I thought it was. emanates from his body. It's him! He's the masked man who kidnapped you, but he's not wearing a mask at this time. Sorry, my nose is really itchy today. It's fall, things are dying. His sleeping face has a ferocious expression. His neck is sweating, and he seems to be trembling. It looks like he's sick. At this time, you decide to, we're gonna shave. That's what we're gonna do. Save. Thank you. Back. Take care of him, obviously. You can't bear to leave him all alone, so you reach out and touch his forehead. Whoa, so hot. You try to find something that can cool him down. Let's investigate. Let's try the kitchen, obviously. The kitchen is spotlessly clean. Fridge. There are some ice cubes in it. These can cool down his body temperature. Cabinet. You find some clean towels in the kitchen cabinets. I can soak a towel in ice water and place it on the patient's forehead to cool him down. Yes. The living room is spotlessly clean. Where to investigate next? Whoa. Specimens. Feels like he did all of them. The workmanship of these specimens is exquisite. Where to investigate next? Photo frame. There is a photo frame on the shelf. It's a man. It's a photo of him standing in the entrance of the judicial mental hospital with a man in a doctor's robe. Where to investigate next? He's just misunderstood. Cocoa powder. There's a jar of cocoa powder and a cup on it. Let's make him a cup of cocoa. Bookcase? Find some of his profile files in the bookcase. Name, Helen Otis. I think his first name's Otis, last name Helen. Gender, male. Birthday, October 1st, 1980. We're gonna investigate next. Is there one more thing on the locked box? There's a box with a combination locked on the shelf. I don't know that. Sofa. Something's good for a patient to sleep on the sofa, but you can't move him with your strength. The man. His expression is ferocious. He seems to be in pain. He's still having a fever. End the investigation. Yeah. You return to the living room, wring out the excess water from a towel soaked in ice water, and place it on his forehead. His ferocious expression gradually softened. You once again notice his fair skin and long eyelashes. We can almost forget he's murdered probably 20 people at least, and his slightly curly black hair. If you don't say he's a murderer, his sleeping face looks very harmless now. After a while, he wakes up to the scent of your brewing cocoa and sits up on the couch. He looks a little shocked. He looks around quickly and seems to understand what is going on.
Why are you doing this?
I want to ask myself
You
that
saw
too.
me faint and didn't choose to run away. You're such a weirdo.
Is there anyone weirder than you in this house? You can't help but bitch about him. What? I feel like that's the wrong translation. You seem to see the corners of his mouth rising slightly for a few seconds, and the atmosphere between you relaxes. He doesn't drink the cocoa you brewed for him. It seems that he is still a little wary of you. Can you tell me who you are?
Bloody Painter. That's the name they gave me for my modus operandi. If you find it difficult to pronounce, you can call me BP.
Even though he knew I messed up in the beginning, even though what he told you was just a nickname, at least you know how to call him now. After the brief conversation on the sofa, he does not lock you back in the underground secret room. Perhaps staying to take care of him when he fell ill was enough to prove that you won't run away. You get up from the sofa and continue to look at the specimen decorations in the living room. He sits on the sofa, crosses his legs, picks up a book, and starts reading.
By the way, you better not try to escape. There are traps all around the cabin.
I figured.
And only I know how to get in and out safely.
You sit on the sofa. Soon, a wave of sleepiness comes over you. Today, you fell asleep on the sofa in the living room, not in the cold underground secret room. Your survival rate increases. Day 5, morning. You see him busy cleaning in and out of the house early in the morning. I'll come help too. What is that in the bucket? After finished speaking, you pick up the rag and bucket and join the cleaning. But you can't really see where this almost spotless house needs to be cleaned. You're just taking a clean wet rag and wipe it on the clean cabinets. Do you usually love cleaning this much?
It would soon be covered with a layer of dust.
That's not what he said. Close enough. Maybe I clicked it. Although he doesn't talk much, his tone and voice give you a gentle feeling and don't make you feel nervous. You climb up the short ladder and wipe the high cabinets with the rag. Suddenly, a cockroach crawls out from the crack in the cabinet. You are so frightened that you lose your balance and fall backwards. You close your eyes. But what you get is not the pain of falling to the ground, but a warm feeling. I do like when characters look tired. It's like a favorite of mine. Also, when I was younger, I know this is probably the bad time for it, but I fell off a chair, and like one of my coworkers like caught me, and it's just like this. It was so cool. You open your eyes and find that he's holding you like you're a princess. He catches you with the same old cold expression on his face.
All right?
Perhaps to resolve the awkwardness, he asks, I'm alright, it was just a cockroach. Hearing the word cockroach, he puts you down. He takes 2 steps back from the cabinet you just wiped and then says calmly,
Don't come near here yet.
Why?
It's dangerous.
You can't help but chuckle at the thought of a murderer being afraid of cockroaches. Fine, whatever you say. The interaction just now makes you feel a little warmth from this cold murderer. At least you see more of his reactions and expressions. This is the rare relaxation you have felt in these tense days. He could have left you fall off the ladder, but he rushed over to catch you. Somehow, you feel that after these few days of getting along, maybe now you both have different ideas about each other than you already had. It was only a clear relationship between a murderer who wanted to hunt and a prey who was trying to escape. Can I make it any more obvious? But now, it has an extra layer of friendship, causing the interaction between you to have an indescribable sense of dissonance. Just when you pick up the old newspaper and prepare to wipe the windows, you find a police car parked on the road in the distance. 2 police officers get out of the car and keep looking towards the cabin. At some point, BP is already behind you looking out the window with you.
Wait for a second.
And then he walks out of the door to talk to the police officers.
Is there anything I can help you with?
Are you Mr. Otis?
Yes, I am.
Have you ever seen these people around here? The police officer takes out some photos from his pocket.
Have these people committed a crime and are running away?
No, these people are the missing people around this area.
I haven't seen them before, but wolves and bears often appear around here.
Can we check out your cabin?
Yes, come in.
BP behaves very kindly and politely. After speaking, he leads the way for the police officers.
Please, follow my footsteps. I placed some traps near the cabin to protect against wild wolves and bears. You don't want to step on them.
The police officers enter the house and see you. Hello,
An
this
old
is...
friend who came to visit me recently.
You greet the police officers with a smile and a nod. At the same time, a police officer quickly looks through the missing person's photos in hand. Then he puts the photo back into his pocket. It seems that your disappearance has not been discovered by anyone yet. Nobody loves you and no one noticed, clearly. You stand near the bookcase, blocking the entrance to the secret room. After searching around, the police find nothing unusual and leave. His trust in you increases. Success! Today you sleep on the couch in the living room instead of in the cold basement. Half asleep, you hear the sound of someone approaching. When you notice it, the person seems to be very close to you. You pretend to be asleep, and the person just looks at your sleeping face quietly. The man stretches out his hand and takes it back just as he's about to touch your hair. He turns around and leaves. That's a weird. You see him busy in the kitchen for a while. Then breakfast is served in front of you. There is a piece of toast with just the right crispiness on the large round plate, a poached egg on top, and some lettuce. Lettuce salad is what it said. The plating looks delicious. The drink is a cup of freshly brewed hot cocoa. The cutlery he gives you is still a round plastic fork with no offensive features. You sit at the dining table and start eating, while he sits at the chair opposite you and flips through a book. It's still snowing outside, and listening to the squeaking sound of the fireplace, the atmosphere in the cabin is particularly comfortable. As long as you ignore the fact that you are in the same room with the murderer who kidnapped you, everything is pretty nice. You look at him, who is full of mysteries, and some questions arise in your mind, and you decide to ask carefully. We're gonna save. I haven't saved in a while, so. Ask carefully. Can I ask you a question?
What is it?
What book do you usually read?
Usually, I would read some anatomy and taxidermy books, but today is different.
I'd be killed because my face can't hide how I feel. What are you reading today?
The Truman Show.
What is the book like?
The whole world that the protagonist lives in, including himself, is all just someone's creation.
Ah.
Everything that happens
So he's Jim
is
Carrey.
watched by the audience, and there is no privacy at all. But he is completely unaware that he is in such a large theater. Very ridiculous, right? I can't imagine this to happen in reality, or to me. If our world was like the Truman Show, how would the audience view the current situation?
I feel spicy about it. Must be unforgivable. I'm gonna say exciting.
Excited? Why?
They may be attracted by your charm and want to be killed by you. I don't personally. I like living.
Incomprehensible. But what a bunch of weirdos with good taste.
It's hard to tell from his poker face whether he's seriously boasting or joking. What work are you going to use for me? You ask bravely. He looks up at you for a moment.
I was going to make you into some kind of doll at first.
That's kind of the creepiest answer he could give me.
Your eyes are beautiful,
Oh,
but if they are left alone, they'll become rotten and sunken. So I would like to dig your eyes out and put them in a glass jar and soak them in formalin to preserve them. Glass beads will be placed in the empty eye sockets to replace the eyes.
I hate it here.
You look very pleasing to the eye, so I would also like to keep the head intact.
Thanks for the compliment, I say, with tears in my eyes. Like, yeah, that's great. This is so awesome. Okay. Why did he say at first? Has his mind changed? You're curious, but you don't have the guts to ask any further. Ask about his plants. I saw many potted plants on the shelves in the living room, but why were they all withered?
I have tried my best. I don't know why they always die.
I guess we can try that one. You pick up the book next to you and start flipping through. It's a book about the possibility of having a completely opposite version of yourself in a parallel world. If there's a complete opposite version of you, what do you think it would be like?
Oh, that book. Let me think. Probably a guy wearing a burgundy coat and always having a smile on his face.
Why is it a burgundy coat?
Because I like blue. If he is the opposite of me, he should like red, right?
Alright. End conversation. Yes. Ooh, we're almost done with the day or the week. See if he's gonna kill me or not. It's noontime. To thank you for making breakfast for me today, let me make lunch in return. He frowns at you with an expression like, are you out of your mind? Don't worry, you said there are traps outside the house. Only you know how to get it in and out normally. Even if I resist you with a knife, I can't escape.
Okay, but I'll keep an eye on you. Don't try anything stupid.
Great. As for what to cook and the ingredients, well, a bad idea flashes through your head, and curiosity makes you ask. Do you eat human flesh?
No. Why would I do that? I just use human bodies as materials for making art.
That makes so much more
never
sense.
Think about eating them.
That's good. That's nice. I like that. I thought you murderers all had some degree of cannibalism. That's not right.
Do you eat paint and painting tools? Just because I kill people to use as materials to make works doesn't mean I will eat them.
Well, I don't know you personally.
Also, I'm different from those who have fun committing a crime and kill purely for the sake of killing. Don't confuse me with that kind of unprincipled guy.
Okay.
I wouldn't do anything unless necessary.
Alright.
You are here only because you witnessed the crime scene.
I see. After hearing this, you decide to cook a human meat dish. He literally said he doesn't do that. You look at the ingredients in the refrigerator. There are eggs, tomatoes, white rice, and some curry powder on the shelf. Okay, I've decided. You turn on the oven and start to cook. PP watches the entire production process. Rather than worrying about you escaping, he's more worried about you blowing up the kitchen. Soon after, a normal curry omelet rice was served. He stares at the omelet rice without saying a word. Don't worry, there's no poison. Weren't you watching the whole process? He starts to move after you finish speaking. He takes a spoonful of omelet rice and puts it in his mouth. What do you think?
It's surprisingly quite delicious.
I personally do not like curry, but I can make it very well. What's wrong?
Nothing. It's just that no one has cooked for me for a long time.
Yeah, you know, if you just made some human connections and friends, maybe things would taste a little. I'm just saying. I can make you more if you like. I can save him. You had a fairly pleasant afternoon. Day 6, late at night.
Hey,
Am I gonna get murdered? Huh? You were woken up for sleep by the man. Hello. His face is close to you and his blue eyes are staring at you. What's wrong? You sit up on the couch and rub your eyes.
Got to go.
Got to go?
I've noticed something unusual about the number of police cars patrolling nearby recently. They must have some relevant evidence and are doubting it. It is very likely there is an ambush outside. It's snowing heavily outside now, and I think it's time to leave now. Come with me or not. It's your choice.
Well, I'm gonna save. That's for dang sure. Okay. Choose to stay or go. I almost clicked stay on accident. We're gonna go with him if we've already accepted that he murders people. I mean, what do you want me to do? I'm fine with both choices, but I need you to look me in the eyes and tell me, what do you prefer me to do? You stare at his eyes.
I prefer...
Staring. He hesitates to speak and looks away, looking like he's thinking about something. Hold his hand. Your behavior makes him a little panicked, and he doesn't seem to be good at this kind of situation. You notice that his ears are flushed, and this unexpected reaction makes you want to tease him a little bit. What do you prefer me to do?
I prefer...
After a moment of silence, he slowly
Let him
speaks.
Come with me.
Aww. Aw, that's so sweet. He tries hard to look you in the eyes and speaks his thoughts.
We'll set off early tomorrow morning.
Day 7. And then he pushes me in a trap and then I explode.
Follow my footsteps.
Why is he wearing the mask? Aren't we trying to escape? You follow the shoe prints he leaves on the snow and finally succeeds in avoiding the many traps around the cabin. Just as you are walking through the forest, you hear movement behind you. Freeze! In the snowstorm, several policemen who were lying in an ambush chase after you. You ignore them and keep running forward. Bang! A gunshot shoots across the sky. You feel a pain in your left calf. You are shot. He turns to look at you, as if he's considering whether to leave you. Run! You yell at him, but he approaches you. And he holds you in his arms. Aww. You feel a warmth on your forehead. He kisses your forehead. You feel the time freeze at this moment. The kiss is almost like a goodbye. Then he leaves you and runs forward, disappearing into the heavy snow. You are later taken back to the police for questioning. You say throughout the process that you were a victim. On that note, you're not lying. You don't reveal any unnecessary details. You hinder the police getting this murderer. Since there is no relevant evidence to prove that you are an accomplice, the police can only release you after a long period of interrogation. After that... Wow, my room is a lot nicer than that basement he had me in. 2 years pass. Now you live in a cheap little apartment. You live an ordinary life, as if what happened 2 years ago never happened. Today is Halloween, and every household nearby has put some thought into making decorations. But for you, just another day at work. When you return to your apartment after getting off work in the evening, the strange thing is, as soon as you open the door, you feel a gust of wind. You remember that you closed the window before going out. Just when you're about to close the window, you find a gift left by someone on the table next to the windowsill, a red rose. You don't know why, but you have a feeling that BP has been here. Every Halloween after that, you receive a rose at your residence. It's like a once-a-year greeting. Although he says nothing, the rose seems to tell everything. Although you have certain similarities, you are two people from two different worlds after all. Perhaps living your own life this way is the best outcome for both of you. Good end for 2 different worlds. I mean, I think that's good. You guys can play it for yourself. There's multiple endings, obviously. It was interesting. I don't know. There's a lot of just instant forgiveness on our part, but I mean, what's to say? I liked the story. Felt a little too real. And the bunny stuff. Ugh. But yeah. So that was Bloody Painter Dating Sim. Like I said, I got it on Steam. I hope to see you guys in the next video. Stay spooky. I love you. Goodbye.